You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again, and today, man, we're going to be talking to a native. That's right, native of San Antonio, Texas, a music artist, Jeremy Parsons. Man, he is a very talented artist. He's played all over the U.S., all over Europe. I mean, he's doing big things in Texas. And man, let's just get right to the point, man. Jeremy, welcome to the show. How you doing, man? Because I know you're busy. I know you're still on the grind doing studio and all that great stuff. How are you doing, though?
I'm doing good, man. It's good to be on the show. Good to be from San Antonio. Good introduction. You know, it's been a crazy time, but it's been nice for focusing on very important things like releasing new music and building your fan base, growing Spotify numbers, viewership, listenership, all that stuff. So it's been a very productive and fun yet crazy time, I guess, but that's life, you know.
And you are absolutely right. It has definitely been crazy time for especially the creatives, for the music artists, because going through this pandemic, all the chaos, all the I don't know what I can't do no more. You gotta watch the news and find out what you can do now in public. But for you as a creative, as an artist, you still been able to work, and you have a new project that we're going to be talking about, a recent one that you are promoting right now, and that's Things to Come. Let's talk about the process of you, before we get into that project, the process of you adjusting to these times.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things like you always have a choice, you know, so it's like, how am I going to utilize this? Because the one important lesson you have to learn as you grow in life is that you are in control of the things that you are in control of, and then everything else is kind of, you're floating in the wind like everyone else. And this has been one of those prime examples of the year. Like, we had no control over this situation, so what do? You know, to play it to your advantage, to use this time, to utilize it. And, you know, that's the thing, too. You create, you grow, or you release your creation. So luckily, prior to this, I had just finished up a record in December of 2019 when I was in Nashville. So I had this project, and it's like, when's the right time to release it? The pandemic comes about, light bulb comes on in my head. It's like, hey, let's do it now. What else are we going to do? Like, bars are closing for a while, so shows are thinning out. The calendar is thinning out. A lot of stuff did is like, we still have we can utilize Facebook Live or Instagram Live or any of those platforms, Twitch and so on and so forth. But, it's as an artist, it's about maintaining it's weird to put it this way, but you're constantly, and you know this as well as a creator of content in general, like you are releasing to maintain a certain relevance within your community or your realm of entertainment. So having that product is very important, or going in to create that product or create your own version of something during this, whether it be like more music videos for YouTube or more music for Spotify and SoundCloud and all the platforms. It's been the perfect time for that. Because like I said, we had very little control over this, and none, to be honest. But, what are you going to do? You make the best of it.
And you spoke about how you were in Nashville for several years, and you made your way back home to Texas. Like people always say, I came as fast as I could to Texas. What has the whole experience of you being in different areas, right? I mean, you've been not just around the United States, but in Europe. With your experience in the past, how has that gave you, if I can say, seasoned your music career experience?
I think it grows it. Like you extend your reach, you grow your perspective. Like you're able to like see things differently because you've seen different things. And I think that's it's really cool. It helped me a lot. It was enlightening and a whole new perspective. And it's cool to see your reach even as an independent artist. Like you'll go overseas and people still know the words to your songs. You're like, what the heck? Mm-hmm. Like, it's like that, mind equals blown, because it's like there's times where I didn't even want to know me. Like, how do you know me? It's like it's very nice. Like it lets you know too that like it's like, oh man, maybe I've always enjoyed what I do, but maybe this is my purpose. Like people are singing along over there. It's made it that far and they wanted to hear it and they continue to listen. Like I should keep doing this. It leads to another thing. Recently I had a buddy, I asked him, I was like, hey, he was making a project, and I said, hey, why are you who are you making the project for? And he goes, for myself. And I was like, oh, well, you're making your project for the wrong reasons, dude. We don't make music for us. We make music for everybody. And that's just another great example of that. Like if someone connects with your song, it's no longer your song. It's their song. And I love that. Like when I've connected with the song, I feel the same way. You take it personally when someone insults it. Like, and it's not even your song. You're like, hey man, how could you say that about that song? I love that song. It's your baby now too. So it's that expansion and growth. It just shows the power of music, and it's very cool. Very, very cool.
And once again, we're talking to Jeremy Parsons on I Am Refocused Radio and about his amazing music career. And by the way, he's from San Antonio. I mean, come on, you can't get better than that. This is amazing to have an artist who's born in San Antonio, travel around the country, travel in Europe, and this is pre-COVID, by the way, disclaimer. And even during the whole pandemic, he's still been creating art. He's been creating music, and that is amazing. I like what you touched on, and that is making music that is, it's not just about you. It's about people. It's about the community, and that's a great point, because that's something that we need desperately today, as far as people just being people and getting along and put all the, blah, blah, blahs aside and just live life. And there's nothing better than hearing your favorite music on radio or your favorite platform. It's something about music that gets people excited, sad, whatever you feel in the blank. Emotions is everything. For you as an artist, how do you capture those feelings when you're in studio sessions? Like, what is your goal when you are brainstorming and creating this art?
I think it's a feeling. I'm looking for a feeling, because I know I've taken a lot of time in my life, like analyzing how I feel and being able to break that down and being able to express it. Because if somebody asks me how I'm feeling, I don't want to say I don't know, because that doesn't make any sense. How are they going to know if I don't? So you take that time to understand where certain feelings are, and where they're like landmines. When you step on one, it blows up. Feelings blow up. Mm-hmm. So when you're in the studio and you're trying to capture that emotion, like whether it's like, for example, the first single off my record was called Tragedy. That had to come with a specific kind of like almost like very cold, abrupt delivery, while still being heartfelt, because it had to feel tragic. That's what that is. It's unexpected, and and you're processing it. It almost has to be this culmination of emotions. And then follow-up single was Good Old Days. That one is nostalgic, and it has to come across that way. You have to you put on the headphones, you close your eyes, it's almost like emerging from the trees and feeling sunlight on your face. You look for those emotions within the tracks. Like there's certain songs that I hear that I could be in a terrible mood, And as soon as I hear it, I don't know what it is, if it's a frequency thing, if it's chemical, but the notes and the song finds me, and it calms me down. Like, it's very chemical. Like, it's part of the whole musical therapy thing, which I really do. It's part of why I write. You're writing to work through your own issues, but you're writing issues that everyone deal with. That's why after you finish a song and it's out there, it's not about you anymore, because you've written empathy. Like, you've released musical empathy to the world, so people know that A, they're either not alone, or like, just B, like, it's like, oh, I get that. I connect with that song. Like, that, he's talking to me. They're talking to me. So you're always trying to bottle up that emotion. Each track is a different bottle filled with a different emotion.
In your backstory of the project Things to Come, you basically are telling a story of life experience, of the journey and choices made, because you touch on basically how, your life, you control it by living. You got to keep going. You got to keep going forward, no matter how crazy life gets, no matter how rough situations might be. Touch on that for the audience.
Yeah, well, it's just true. It's one of those things. It takes a while to admit things like that to yourself. Like, you never want to think that you're the problem or you could possibly be in your own way. But as soon as you open yourselves up to that, and open yourselves up to the other many things that are a part of life, like the good and the bad, like it is a yin and a yang situation. Like, that we need both sides to grow. I think we need the good to motivate us, and the bad also to motivate us to be better. Like, the bad pushes us closer to the good, otherwise it pulls you in. You always have a choice. So there's two sides to every coin, and that's why we flip them.
You got some bars. Wow, that was good.
Thank you. But yeah, it's like it's important to touch on that, I think, because that's what I learned. Like, I was basically destroying my mind and my body for years with different substances. And, at a certain point, it's so pathetic, because and I'm saying that personally for myself. I'm not belittling anyone's struggle with that. But personally for myself, I realized that it was pathetic, because I was in control the entire time and acting like I wasn't. Like, and you can't go back. That's why in Things to Come, I speak on, the course opens up. I'd go back if I could, but that ain't how it works. I lived it and loved it and all that I learned. Time is a healer, and life must go on. Here's to all the things to come. Like, that's what it is. Like, that's what I learned from all of those situations that I speak on in the song. And I want to continue that journey. Like, that's why I like the thought of Things to Come. It's like, it doesn't have a finish line. Like, it is just whenever you finish. It's about looking forward, embracing your past, because you wouldn't be you without your past. I mean, that's how it is. You wouldn't be here today if you weren't, there prior. Like, it's just that simple. And the journey to get to me saying that statement was not simple. Like, looking back, it's like, why am I going through all this stuff? You could approach it with the woe is me attitude, but the fact is, we all go through stuff like that. Different extremes, of course, but it's a journey, and it's your journey, and you are in control of it. Now, granted, some stuff arises that you have zero control over, but you're in control of however you handle that after that situation arises.
And once again, we're talking to Jeremy Parsons, a local music artist right here in San Antonio, who's been everywhere doing amazing things, amazing accomplishments. But man, you can hear right now in his voice. He's a humble person and doing big things. When you talked about struggle, I mean, that is the key right there. Hardship, I believe, it prepares us to go to the next level. It's just, are we going to stand up? Or are we going to sit down? You know, we all have a choice. You had the same 24 hours, and you had to make up your mind. You know, this ain't it. You got to keep going, even when you don't feel like going, because that's what separates you from everybody else who is doing big things. Like I like saying on the show, I think you might heard this line, but we like watching highlight count, you know, top 10 plays, right? But we don't see the sweat and the tears and the bloodshed during the practice time when no one's watching you. You know, when people see highlight reels of the greatest of the greatest, of the greatest minds and the greatest athletes and the greatest, you know, whoever you fill in the blank, we're only seeing a glimpse of their life. We're not seeing the behind the scenes of drama and hardship and struggle. You as an artist, you've been through that, and that has helped your art. How have you been able to utilize those weaknesses and those frustrations and turn it into something positive?
I think just it's exact, like, not, I don't know, I don't want to say like I don't let go of things, but I don't, it's like this, I heard someone say one time, he said, you know, and I think it's the Bible that says forgive and forget or something like that, and someone told me one time, it's like, yeah, you can always forgive, but you should never forget. And I was like, that's great, because that extends fully to yourself and your own inner dialogue. Like, you're allowed to forgive yourself for things, and even if other people won't forgive you for them, like, you have to forgive yourself to move on. But, like, I don't think you should ever forget that you made the mistake or forget that you ever took the journey, because that's how you, like I said, like, that's how you got here. Like, you can't forget where you came from. Like, just like you shouldn't throw aside your humanity, or you shouldn't forget that just because people are showing up to see you every night or screaming your lyrics at you or screaming your name, that you're an artist, yes, but you're also a person. Like, don't ever lose the fact that you're a person first. You were a person before you became an artist, and you are an artist because you got to be a certain type of person.
Man, you speaking bars, man. I can just let you do the rest of the show, man. But on a serious note,
I appreciate you.
The part where you talk about the Bible, man, is like my light bulb just went off. It's a scripture that I would like to share in. Actually, two. The first one is Jeremiah 29:11, one of my favorite personal ones. You know, where it talks about God knows the plans that He has for your plans to give you a hope and a future. And then another one popped in my head is in Psalms 119:105. Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path. And this is something about having that mindset that there's things in this world you can't control. There's things that will happen to you you can't control. But the only thing you can control is your attitude and your choices. Let's touch on that, man. You as an artist, man, you are like what a lot of people are dreaming to be. You know, you've been able to blessed to travel and see different parts of the world. And even through the pandemic, you've been able to buckle down and create art still. What do you say to those artists out there who are like, man, I wish I could do what he's been doing? You know, what's the secret sauce? It's funny, like, we all who have the fortunate opportunity to have a platform, everyone wants to know the secret sauce. So for you, what will you say to that listener who might be an artist themselves or aspiring artist? What secret sauce will you give them?
I would say it's this is going to sound weird, but it's totally, they are their own secret sauce. Like, you literally just have to keep putting. It's one step at a time. It all is. Like, keep putting your best foot forward, and then put the other best foot forward, and keep trudging ahead. Like, just, I'm going to steal this from Nike because it's just that simple, but just do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's that is what it is. It's going to work it will work. If it's not going to, you will figure something else out, and it will lead you to the next step of something that might work. If the thing that you want to do or attempt to try doesn't work out, the chances are that because you tried that and made the effort, it will open a new door that you hadn't even considered, that'll lead you to the actual thing that you were supposed to find in the first place. Everything's a gateway, but you have to walk through one door first. You have to choose a path before you can find the right one. Like, that's just the way it is. If you're passionate about it and it feeds your soul when you're doing it, it's most likely the right thing. But that doesn't always mean it's going to work, especially if you go in with unrealistic expectations, because that's what it is. Like, success is fame, but success is different from person to person. I've met a lot of people that are extremely famous in their own minds, and I've never heard of them.
Oh, man, like, you're a comedian, too. That's a good one.
Like, you don't, they didn't need the actual Grammy or anything like that. Yeah. They had already convinced themselves that they were there.
Oh, that's too good, man. I love that, man. You got so many lines that I'm going to steal, just so you know, because they're pretty good, man.
They're all yours, man, and it's not stealing if you ask. But it's true, like that, and I've actually watched that attitude work for a lot of people. Yeah. It's not me, because I don't find an ounce of humility in it. I actually find more insecurity in it than I do anything else. I'm like, well, I hope they find their path through that motive, because it's very phony and it makes me feel gross.
Man,
but, that's the path that they've chosen to get to their next path, and I'm not one to stand in the way of that, because they're trying and doing something. So as long as you're trying and doing, and it leads you to where you need to go, like I can't ever find a flaw in it, because it seems like a necessary step for some people, and that's a necessary step is, like it is titled, very necessary.
Dang, that's good. Wow. Man, it's like, wow. I don't even know what else I can even add to that statement except for just do this quick plug-in. By the way, you listen to I'm Refocused Radio, talking to Jeremy Parsons. And if you want to hear his amazing music, go to jeremyparsonsmusic.com. And we still got time left on the clock, so I got another thing for you, man. You had so many good lines. Like, it's like I don't even have enough ink in the pen to write it down. But when you are seeing the fruit of your labor, the hard work, let's touch on success, because I like how you talk about people can think they're successful in their own world, and reality hits them, and it's like, hey, you might want to check yourself before you wreck yourself. You as a person, as an individual, you have been successful, and you have put in the work, and you have showed your passion for the art of music. What advice do you give to any creative, right? Or not just creatives, any individual, right? They want to find a purpose in life. They want to be a better them. They want to make, the parents proud. They want to make the family proud, their city proud, or, themselves proud. What do you tell that individual what they should be focusing on so that they can have that opportunity to do great things?
I think, I think it always goes back to, and I want to make it abundantly clear that when I say this, I don't mean be selfish, because I think a lot of people will hear that, and that's not what I mean, because that's not what the world needs more of, ever. I think that it's an inner journey that people wait too long to go on or take, that is super necessary for how you affect your family and the rest of the world around you for the rest of your life. The quicker you go on that journey of self-discovery, it's like a lot of people will get to the age of 50, but I'm not going to name any names, but I know someone who's very close to me that this bothers me on a daily basis, because all they are doing is projecting negative energy into any situation that they are a part of, and it is unnecessary. But it exists because they refuse to face themselves.
Ooh.
And I think you can't put anything good out into the world if you still have so much bad inside of you that you're refusing to deal or cope with. And we all have it. Like, the world is a hateful, violent, angry place. That's not the entire world now. Of course, there's good out there. There is good out there. Whether we want to see either or not, like it is true, like I said earlier, yin and yang, it is necessary. There is a balance. And it pushes things in both ways. But, like, I think the first battle is within yourself. And I word that way because people can say, if I just answer, you need to focus on yourself, people will be like, okay, well, I'll just be super selfish and not care about anyone else. So, like, that is the complete opposite of my point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My point is that it starts with you. You can't project good vibes, good energy, whatever you want to call it, smiles onto people's faces. If you are miserable inside, you will want to make other people feel the same way. If you are happy and fulfilled, you will make an entire room just a giant pool of light, because all you're doing is projecting good energy from person to person that look at you, because they see you and they see something that is content and passionate, and they are drawn to it. And you might inspire that to find them for themselves. And that's important. Like, you can't do that unless you know what they're looking at, and that's you. You have to know yourself.
Man, that's perfectly well said, and it makes me think about what earlier you said in the interview, going into the Bible. I always like painting pictures because, you know, you can appreciate this as an artist. It's like, how can you have power if you don't plug in? You got to plug into the source, and that source is going to give you that power you can't give yourself. And someone told me, you know, we're not islands. We're not meant to be islands. You got to connect. You got to reach out, because that's what matters. You know, people need people. And, you know, people need the right people, obviously, but I'm just saying people generally just need people, because that's what makes us all better and make us all look from different perspectives. So once again, we've been listening to Jeremy Parsons, and right here on I'm Refocused Radio, and I just want to give you the floor, man. What before we depart, what would you like to say to our audience? And the floor is yours.
I think you got a great show here. I think people should keep listening and keep following you, and you should keep growing because you deserve it. And I want to thank you for having me on, and I want to thank everybody who listens to this and listens to my music and supports anyone doing what they're doing and what they're passionate about. I was like, you are giving back to a community that loves to give, and that's the greatest compliment of all that we could ever receive. And I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy too. It's crazy. We don't know when it's going to end, but I'm thinking about everyone, and I'm looking forward to the future. And hopefully we can all jam someday at some concert venue without masks. Like, we can see everybody's entire face. That would be awesome.
Yeah, isn't that awkward? You can tell they're happy or sad or mad about your music.
That's it. It's probably been a lot of people that are either pleasantly surprised or pleasantly disappointed by what happens when some people take off that mask, you know?
All right, man. Jeremy's going to be a comedian in his next life, too, because that was too good. So once again, man, I want to thank Jeremy Parsons for being on I'm Refocused Radio. He took time in his busy schedule, because guy is busy, man, like no lie. And from San Antonio, thank you for representing San Antonio, because we got some of the best minds, best hearts, best talent right here in San Antonio. I'm telling you, San Antonio, Texas is the best city in the world. I said it. Yeah, that's right. You can write me an email if you're mad. But anyway, I just want to once again thank you, sir, for being on the show today. And how can people support your new project when it drops? Because you have one coming out in 2021.
There's a pre-order and pre-save as of last Friday that they can go check out, and that's you can find that on my on my website and on my Instagram and in the bio and everything. That's the best way to do it. But when it comes out, just share it, listen, tell everyone you can about it. That's just the way it is. It's all word of mouth. We're all indie cats, so it's just cool to see people, wanting to listen, wanting to share it and everything. But that's always the best way to help any independent artist.
But there you go. Once again, you can go right to his website, Jeremy Parsons' website. That is jeremyparsonsmusic.com. That's jeremyparsonsmusic.com. Once again, I want to thank you, sir, for being on I Am Refocused Radio. And like we say on every single show, keep God first, stay focused, and peace.